For more on the business behind Copa America, we're joined by Diego Saralegui. He's the Programming and Business Development Manager of GOLTV. Thanks for joining us, Diego.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me.
Diego, so far the Copa tournament has had low TV ratings. Stadiums are looking decidedly unfull, even when the U.S. men's national soccer team was playing against Ecuador in the semifinal. Thousands of empty seats at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. So has the U.S. hosting the Copa been a success? How would you describe it?
It's tough. I mean, if you have to be, if it's either black or white, success or failure, it has to be more towards failure. The stadiums are too big. I don't know why they're not playing in MLS or soccer-specific stadiums. And I think the U.S. soccer, it's more towards the storytelling. They don't really believe they're going to win, so really nobody's showing up because it's like they're more happy to be part of than they're going to be like, okay, here we're going to win it, and people come and watch us and get behind the team. So it's a combination.
How much of it is just that Americans are just not that into soccer or football?
Well, it's a combination because the previous. I mean, if you watch the World Cup, people go behind it. If it's a major event, people would come and see, and it's like a time to showcase the sport and time to showcase the national team. If you don't really believe what you're doing and what you're putting on the field, and you don't communicate that through the team and through the media, and the new guy watching soccer will be like, okay, why am I watching this? I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to spend my dollars in some other program, and there's no need for me to.
And Diego, speaking of spending dollars, were the tickets just priced too high for this?
Again, it all depends. They're not things are not expensive or cheap. Either you can do it or not. If it's entertaining and it's something you want to go, maybe $20 it's too expensive. Maybe $400 is not that expensive. Final tickets are somewhat around $800. I mean, if you're going to watch Argentina and as right now Chile is beating Colombia 2-0. So the final looks like it's going to be Argentina-Chile, which is going to be a rematch from last Copa America. If you get the build-up with that storytelling, that rematch, and maybe almost $1,000, it's not that expensive. Maybe it is. It all depends on who is the one that is spending that.
Right. Right. Like you say, it depends how much of a committed fan you are. Well, given that this hasn't been what we would call a raving success, could this have an adverse effect on a future World Cup bid for the USA?
I mean, for the common fan, I think it does. If you really know what's going on, if the World Cup comes here in 2022 or later, it's not going to be the same organization. Right now, it's U.S. soccer with CONCACAF, with CONMEBOL. And if the World Cup should come, it would be more like the U.S. is putting the full force, and it's the U.S. brand and image to the world. So I think if the World Cups, or when the World Cups comes over here, it's going to be a total success. There's no way they're going to fail.
Well, how important has the Copa been for the traditional soccer sponsors?
Well, the thing, it's funny because the traditional soccer sponsors, usually for the Copa America, are from Latin, and over here, over there, it's a little more grassroots, and right now it's in the U.S. and there's a lot of sponsors behind it. The corporate America is behind it, so I mean there's new sponsors that haven't been there before, so it's a mixture of things. I mean, of course, the sponsors would have hoped for a U.S.-Mexico final. That was not the case, and it's weird to see how they're going to go after this. If they're going to keep going with the Copa America once it goes back to South America, if they're going to move over to the Gold Cup, which is just North America, we'll have to wait and see the sponsor side if they're happy or not.
Well, let's talk about the social media aspect of this, because that has been proven to be a very integral part. Some of it's successful. Budweiser had the Man of the Match campaign, which enabled fans to vote via Twitter on who they think they performed the best after each match. What have been some of the more impactful digital integrations through this tournament?
Well, like you said, I think Budweiser has the best one. with the man of the match. The others are, I mean, it's really depends on what game it is and who's watching. There's in the Spanish media, there's a very Mexico-centered communication. So with the Mexico games, it was a whole activation. With the other games, it was not so much, so that they let it go a little bit. But I mean, if you have to go through the line of which one is doing the best, like you said, I think the beer is activating the most.
All right, very quickly, who's your pick for the final?
Well, Argentina's playing very good.
All right, thanks so much, Diego Saralegui, Programming and Business Development Manager of GOLTV. Stay with us. Coming up, we'll have more of today's top business stories out of Asia.